In section 9.4, we're going to talk about the circumference and the area of a circle. So the first things we need to review are the parts of a circle. First thing we have is the center, which is the point right in the middle of our circle. The radius is the distance from the center of our circle to the outside of our circle. So this right here is our radius, our R. Our diameter is the distance across the circle, so it passes through our center point and it goes from one side to the other. So this is our diameter, D. Okay? When we have a circle, every radius in the circle, so we could draw a bunch of them. I don't have to draw it straight here. I could draw it this way, this way, this way. Every single time I draw a radius, they are always equal, as long as it starts from the center and goes out in all directions. Every radius in a circle is the same length. Our diameter, our blue line here, is 2 radii. D equals 2R. When we're talking about circumference, the circumference of a circle is the distance around the circle. So if I wanted to know what is the distance of this circle if I went all the way around. If I took this circle and straightened out into a line, how long would that be? That's the circumference. So my formula is going to be 2 times pi times r. And our pi value we're going to use is 3.14, or you can use the pi button on your calculator. Okay, so let's look at an example. If we have find the exact and approximate circumference of a circle with a diameter of 5.4. Okay, so our equation for circumference we know is C equals 2 pi r. First thing I see is we need the radius, but they gave me the diameter. I know the diameter is 2r, so in order to find r, I switch that around, divide both sides by 2. I have the diameter over 2. So if I take that diameter and divide by 2, 5.4 divide by 2, that is going to give me 2.7. Okay, now I can plug that into my equation over here. So I have 2 times pi times r, which is 2.7. Now, it says find the exact and the approximate. The exact version is going to include pi in my answer. So all I need to do to find the exact answer is multiply my 2 times my 2.7, which gives me 5.4 pi. This right here is my exact circumference. It is 5.4 pi. If I want to approximate, all I'm going to do is plug that into my calculator. My approximate value of pi is going to be 16.96. I'm going to round to 2 decimal places, and that is my approximate. Because I have to round. Over here I didn't have to round with pi. My approximate means I'm rounding to the nearest value of pi. Okay, so let's look at our next one. Our next example says that the circumference of a circle is approximately 25.154 feet. Find the diameter and the radius. Okay, so if I know my equation again for circumference is 2 pi r, I want to figure out what that radius is. So I can plug this in. This is my value for C. 25.154 equals 2 pi r. I want to get r by itself. So if I divide both sides by 2 pi, my 2 pi's go to 1 over here. 2 pi over 2 pi is 1. And I'm given r equals, and then I can type this into my calculator. 25.154 divided by 2 pi gives me 4.005 feet. And then once I have my radius, I know my diameter is 2r. 2 times 4.005 gives me 8.01. And that is my diameter. So circumference of a circle was our distance around the outside of our circle. The area of our circle is the space inside of our circle. So if we shade in our whole circle, that's what we're talking about with area. It's talking about everything inside of our circle. Our formula for that we have is the area equals pi times r squared, where r is our radius. And our value of pi, again, is still 3.14. Okay, so let's look at an example. It says, find the area of a circle with radius 3 1/2 centimeters. Use 22 over 7 for pi. Okay, so if we look, we have our equation for area. We can plug in our 22 over 7 for pi, and our r is going to be 3 1/2. And I know that 3 1/2 is the same thing as 3.5. So that's what I'm going to write over here, because 3.5 is easier for me to type into my calculator. That whole thing, 3.5, is going to be squared. So now all I need to do is plug this into my calculator. And when I do that, I have 22 divided by 7 times 3.5 squared. I get 38.47 centimeters squared. Remember, area, our units are always squared. Okay, and our next one says to complete the chart. So here, we're given 2 pieces of information, and we want to find the other pieces that we're missing. So our number 1, if we're given that our diameter is 8 inches, we know that our diameter is 2 of the radius, so we can divide that 8 by 2, and that makes our radius 4 centimeters. Our circumference, we know the equation for circumference is 2 pi r. So when we plug in our radius of 4 here, we have 2 times pi times 4. Which gives us, when we plug that in, 25.12 inches. And this should be inches over here, not centimeters. Okay, and then our area, we know the equation for area is pi r squared. So again, we can plug in our radius. We have pi times 4 squared, which gives us 50.24 inches squared. Okay, Now, same thing down here for number 2. We're given our circumference is 3.14 millimeters. That is our circumference, so we know that 3.14 is equal to 2 pi r. To figure out what that r is, we can divide both sides by 2 pi, and that leaves us with 0.5 millimeters is equal to r. So we can put 0.5 in for r, and if our radius is 0.5, that means our diameter is twice that, so it is 1 millimeter. And then we can take our radius and plug it into our equation for area. So we would have pi times 0.5 squared, which gives us 0.785 millimeters squared.